So welcome again. Appreciate your support. Again, for those who don't know me, my name is Mike Gallagher. I'm a certified lifestyle educator, is my official title. I've been in the nutritional field for over almost 20 years now. I'm here only during these wellness events. Normally, I go around to different healthcare practitioners and I work with all different types of modalities, a few medical doctors, a few DOs, a lot of chiropractors, some pharmacists, nutritionists, homeopaths, kinesiologists. So I work with all different types of specialties and modalities. So in the 20 years, there aren't too many things I haven't heard of. If I don't know the answer, I will get it for you. I thought what little happened there, huh?
It never just happened.
You promise I'm gonna go get him now? No. Okay. So of all the things that I've seen, all the things that I've discovered in the 20 years, all the nutrients that are out there, I have to say there's nothing that comes close to what this one nutrient does, dimethylglycine. Okay? Ever since I first learned about it, I have been using it myself. So, you know, I have access to all these supplements, all these ingredients. People always ask me, what do you take? What do you do? Dimethylglycine is one of the things that I personally use every single day and have been for the last several years because it literally does everything on a cellular level. And I mean everything. And not only does it do everything, it also helps anything else you combine it with. It will make that supplement that much better for you as well. Yes. So we call it dimethylglycine is the official name for it, but we have doctors that we work with who nickname this damn mighty good. Because that, excuse my French if that offends you, but that's, but that really emphasizes how powerful this one thing is. And we can say things about DMG that we cannot say about any other supplement in the world, by the way. And we'll explain that here in a moment, why that is. This also has one of the most research studied nutrients as well, of all the vitamins that are out there too. And we'll show you some studies here in a moment. But it's very unique. Now, this is found in certain foods, but in teeny tiny trace amounts. And for DMG to really work, you need much higher, stronger dosages. Okay, so, and we'll talk about that here in a moment. What dosage do we really need to be at for this to be the most effective as well? But Dr. Roger Kendall is a PhD molecular biochemist who spent his entire lifetime researching dimethylglycine. Now, DMG is not new. So some of you might say, well, is this new? No, it's not. It's actually been around for over 25 years. But most people have never heard of dimethylglycine. It was originally called vitamin B15. So you might have heard of that name before, B15. They quickly changed the name of it within the first 2 years of that name to dimethylglycine. But if you ever hear B15, that's what we're talking about, dimethylglycine. Okay? So I just want to talk about that here as well. So these are just some of the benefits of DMG. So number one, it improves oxygen utilization into the cells. It's technically a methylizer, and we'll talk about what that means, but it's really good for detoxification, clearing out the toxins on a cellular level. It will boost your immune system, and there's a patent for it, as a matter of fact, for your immune. It will help with all cardiovascular function. It's an anti-inflammatory. It's also technically an antioxidant. And that's really how we age, is the oxidation of our cells, the rust on our cells. And DMG will help remove that rust. It will improve liver. It passes through the blood-brain barrier, so it helps with all neurological functions as well. And it has anti-cancer properties. In fact, DMG is the only supplement in the United States that I'm aware of that we can make a health claim to treat cancer with. It's the only one. And we'll show you that study, that patent here in a moment on that. So that's a pretty amazing list of benefits. And I'm just going to ask this question. If I've already asked this before, if you've already sat through this before presentation, don't answer it. But out of all those things, and there's really no wrong answer, but of all those benefits, what would you say is the most important benefit? If you had to pick one, and there's really no wrong answer. Yes, sir?
Improves oxygen utilization.
Yes, that is it. Improving oxygen utilization is the most important thing that I would say on this list, right? Why is that? Because cancer, bacteria, viruses, parasites, all cannot survive in an oxygen-rich environment. So the more oxygen you get into your cells, the better it's going to help with all these other things as well. Okay? So really, really important. Now, other applications. For athletes, DMG will help to reduce lactic acid buildup, so you're able to work out longer and harder without that pain. On the back end, it'll help out with muscle recovery. It actually, DMG goes back to the 1970s. Russian athletes were taking this as part of their top secret training program when they were kicking our butts in the Olympics. Now, I do want to emphasize they were doing a lot of other things besides DMG, but this is one of the things they were using, okay? This is not on any ban list. Any high school kid can take this, any college athletic, any pro athlete. We actually work with several doctors who work with several Pittsburgh Steelers right now, also some Pittsburgh Penguins, Pittsburgh Pirates. We work with over 50 professional athletes right now, and we use this in some of our supplements, DMG, on the athletic aspect. So we'll talk about those at the end, by the way, of things that we use this with. Cardiovascular I mentioned, but here's a little bit more detail. It actually will help lower cholesterol. It will actually improve blood pressure as well. Any chest pain, it also will help out as well. It'll boost your immune, as I said. We'll talk about that more in a moment. Same thing with viral bacterial infections. I would also add to this list now Lyme's disease. DMG is one of the few things that it can actually help with Lyme's disease. Okay? So again, if that is you or you know somebody with Lyme's, DMG would be one of the things that can really help somebody out there. Autism. Okay, so DMG goes back to the 1980s. There's hundreds and hundreds of studies on the benefits for autism. In fact, it's recommended by the National Autism Institute since the 1980s. Seizures, nobody with seizure issues, DMG will dramatically help that, and we'll show you a study on that. And really, again, any type of neurological issue this will help out with. But especially bipolar, especially anxiety, especially depression, DMG will help out with all of those issues. Okay? Arthritis, joint health. Again, it's an anti-inflammatory, will have added benefit there. Any autoimmune issue, but especially lupus, but any autoimmune issue DMG will help out with. And again, the big C, cancer. Big C, cancer. So that is a pretty amazing list of different benefits that one supplement can help out with. Yeah.
What about mobility?
Well, in turn, when we reduce inflammation, you will improve your mobility as well, correct? Yes. Okay? Yeah.
Any supplements that would actually interfere with its use?
Yeah. No.
You could take it with any other supplement.
You can. Yes, and I'll correct. And I'll talk about that here more right here as a matter of fact. So there's been two major universities, University of Southern California and also Clemson University has studied this in detail, and both have said it's extremely safe, have no issues as far as contraindications in the 25 years, no side effects, no adverse events, no contraindications. You can even take this with blood thinners, Coumadin and warfarin. This is one of the rare few supplements that you can take with Coumadin or warfarin without it being an issue. Okay, so it's extremely safe. Now, technically, anything has an overdose. You can drink too much water and die of drinking too much water. So technically, anything has an overdose, but you would have to consume 6,000 pills at once for you to overdose on DMG. So it's not going to happen. It's very safe to use. Yeah.
All right, according to your weight would be an amount to take, or it's just universal.
It's just universal, so we'll get to the dosage here in a second. Okay, so extremely safe. Safety should always be number one. So here's really the key, is the dosage. So you see a wide range of dosing depending on the health condition that we're talking about, okay? And a general rule of thumb, it basically goes anywhere from general use 125 milligrams up to cancer, which the minimum would be 1,500 milligrams, okay? So we try to keep this as simple as possible. So it comes in a box that's also chewable. We also have it in a liquid now as well. But these are 500 milligrams per chew, okay? Per chew. Comes in a 60-pack blister pack. Tastes like a sweet tart, cherry-flavored sweet tart. So general rule of thumb is 1 a day for maintenance or prevention, which is what I take, 1 a day. If you have any type of pain or mobility or any type of inflammation, any type of chronic health issue, we would do 2 a day, 2 a day, 1,000 milligrams a day minimum. And cancer would be minimum 3 a day, 3 a day. Now, can you do more than that? Yes, you can. So again, in cancer, you can go up to 2,500 milligrams. You can go up to 500 or 5 a day of these, okay? Typically, you know, people say, well, how soon before I see results? Well, again, there's a lot of variables going on. Your diet, are you exercising, stress, a lot of variables. And the severity and how long you've had the issue. But typically, you know, we're looking at 1 to 3 months. However, when some people do take this for the first time, they report that they have more energy, and it kind of, as they say, clears out the cobwebs. They're able to focus a little bit more. That's correct? Yep, you noticed that? So when I'm doing this presentation in front of a medical doctor, some of them have told me that by the time I'm finished doing the presentation, wow, I can really feel a difference. Some people, not everybody, but some people can really notice it that quickly with that situation on there. Now, as I said, DMG is not new. Been around for 25 years. When DMG first came out, the dosage on it, and you can still find this at some health food stores, are typically 125 milligrams. Some stores now carrying a 250 milligram, right? But if you have some type of pain inflammation issue, how many do you need to be at? 1,000 milligrams. So that would be 9 a day if you're doing 125 milligram. Again, it's hard for most people to do 9 a day of anything, all right, for at least a month. So when this first came out, most people were not taking enough of it for it to really see the benefit of it. So like a lot of our things, we try to give you higher dosing, more concentrated therapeutic, we call it dosing, so you don't need to take as many as you would typically that you get at certain, at some health food stores. Not every health food store sells this, by the way, just certain ones. But I just wanted to let you know that, okay? So I'm going to pass this around for you. If you'd like to try it, please help yourself. Again, avoid the top 3, but just take the other ones. And I'll start with another one on this side, if you want to just try it over there if you'd like. Again, you don't have to, but I just wanted people to try it just to see what it tastes like, how easy and simple it is. Don't do those top 3. Do the bottom. That. Yeah. Once, by the way, if you ever notice, if oxygen ever comes through these, okay, it will start to turn a little yellowish in color, and so we would avoid it. There's technically nothing wrong with it, but we would avoid the top 3 if that, in this situation. The bottom. So don't do the top. Yeah. Don't do that if it ever has that issue. Question.
Oh.
So if you're taking, say,
Uh-huh.
the immune builder milk,
Yeah.
you add some of that in.
Yeah.
So is that supersede those drinks, or is it something you can put in with others?
Well, we use this in several great questions. So the question was, she's using some of our other formulas, and we'll talk about some of the other things that have DMG in it. Would you have to, would that replace the DMG? The answer is no, but you can use less of the DMG if you are using some of the other formulas that have DMG in it. Okay? So good question on that. All right, so 1, 2, or 3 a day, though, is a really simple, easy rule of thumb on this.
How much would I take? I have a circulation. Some of my carotid artery is blocked.
Uh-huh.
not enough for surgery.
Uh-huh.
But I'm taking Circaflow
Uh-huh.
to dissolve some of the,
Well, Circuflow won't dissolve it. That's going to improve circulation. Nattokinase Plus would actually be the better choice for you.
okay.
Nattokinase, and we'd go up to 6 a day in the severity of your situation, and I would do 2 a day to DMG. Again, 2 a day for any health problem except cancer. Cancer's 3 a day, minimum, okay? So that's how we want to keep it simple, okay? But nattokinase would be a little bit more specific for that issue. Yeah, nattokinase Plus, yeah.
Talking about the three a day, those packs are right.
Yeah, we're talking about 3 chewables a day if you have cancer. 2 chewables a day will be most issues we're talking about. If you don't have any issues at all, 1 a day. 1 a day. Or if we get the condition under control, 1 a day. Okay? So that's what's really important is most people who've tried DMG and they didn't feel a difference, didn't take enough of it, and didn't give it enough time. 1 to 3 months. 1 to 3 months we're talking about with this. Okay, so because this does everything, we're just going to focus on the patents that this has and show you some of the research behind this. Really focus on that, but again, it's very, by the way, if you open up your book, let me just go back to that dosing. If you go to page 183, actually 193, excuse me. Page 193 in your book, just ear flap it, 193 has the dosing that we just talked over. So if you need a refresher or reminder, but again, we're trying to keep it simple. We ran out of books, we'll get more after we're done. We do have the extra copy, sir, if you want the presentation. Anybody back there too? Okay. So 193 has the dosage guideline for you in case you forget. You want a little refresher on that. Okay, because this does everything, we'll focus again on the patents. Now, you might be wondering by now, how does one nutrient, how does one supplement do all of these things? How is that even possible? And this is how. So, this is a very complicated process, but we're going to try to simplify this. So, try to think back in high school, when you go through chemistry in high school, okay? This is the methylation process that takes place inside your cells. Every millisecond that this is happening, there's different conversions that takes place inside your cells, okay? And there's actually 41 conversions that takes place in your cells, but these are your main ones. These are your biggies right here, okay? So, if we take DMG, it pulls from the methyl donor, converts into what's called sarcosine. Then it pulls from the methyl donor into what's called glycine. Then it pulls from the methyl donor into serine, pulls from the methyl donor into methionine, pulls from the methyl donor into SAMe, then it goes into homocysteine, then the cysteine, then the glutathione. Okay? Glutathione is your master immune enhancer. That's your king or queen immune builder right there. DMG is one of the few rare substances that you can swallow, that you can orally take, that will actually increase glutathione levels. Now, most medical doctors don't know this. That's why if someone is sick, they will give them a glutathione drip, IV drip, glutathione. They are not aware of DMG. DMG can actually increase your glutathione levels without going through that injectable means. Now, every person is out of bounds in one of these conversions. Every single person sitting here is out of bounds in one of them, in one way, shape, or form, which leads to health issues that we deal with. So just to give you an example here, if you're a poor serine methylator, this is linked to neurological issues, ADD, OCD, autism has been linked to this methylator, okay? Also, addictions, alcohol addiction and drug addiction is related to this particular methylator, okay? So DMG is going to help with all those issues, okay? Homocysteine is cardiovascular. So if you have circulatory issues or heart problems or high blood pressure, again, it's this particular methylator that's out of balance, so DMG will help with that. Cysteine is detoxifier. This is one of your master detoxifiers. So I always use an example, someone who drinks coffee or caffeine. Some people can drink a cup of coffee before they go to bed at night and have no problem sleeping. Other people drink a cup of coffee and they're bouncing off the walls for the next 2 days. This is why this particular methylator cysteine is out of balance. And then of course the glutathione there, okay? So that is why this is so unique. There's no other supplement that does all these conversions that takes place, and it rebalances everything, okay? And that's why it helps on all these different health issues. And that's why at Nutritional Frontiers, we also include it in a lot of our other supplements, because methylation is just a fancy word for absorption. So when you combine it, as I said earlier, if you use it with any other supplements, it's going to make those other nutrients more absorbable and more efficient, okay? If you're on medications, any drug medications, it will complement the medication, okay? It won't interfere. It'll make your medication more efficient. And therefore, as your condition improves, working with your medical doctor, your prescribing physician, let him know what you're taking, let him know what you're doing, and as your condition improves, hopefully he can slowly take you off your medications, wean you down to the point where none at all. And that's what our ultimate goal is, trying to get you off the medication, because the medications long term have tremendous amount of side effects, as we all know. Okay? Question?
Taking the cardio stack, how does that compare with the general or generic or whatever you have there?
Yeah, so the cardio stack has DMG in it, okay? So we use a little bit of it in a lot of our supplements, but we do recommend you take this in addition to it if you want the full effect of the DMG, but it will make the other nutrients, which in that formula, L-carnitine and CoQ10, it's going to make those other nutrients more absorbable. Okay, so that's the whole thought process. All right, so does this make sense to everybody? Does that make sense on why this works and how this works? And again, in the book, it goes into detail about it, but this is really a simplified version of it and why it helps on so many different things. Okay, so you have the book. This is one of my favorite books that I've ever read. Once you start reading this, it's almost impossible to put it down. It's pretty neat on all, and it breaks it up by the different chapters. It goes into more detail on the beginning, how it was discovered, how they found it, and how it came into the United States in more detail. And one of the things, if I could just have that book real quick, okay? One of the things, if I get in front of a medical doctor, okay, and he tell me, Doc, they'll tell me, yeah, Mike, this sounds good, but is there any studies? So I go to the back of the book. I'm starting on page 231, and I just start flipping the pages. And I'm like, Doc, do you want that alphabetical order or top 100? I'll email them right now to you. And there's literally thousands of published studies on DMG. And so when I say that to them, they don't say another word. They don't say another word. They just listen. And so they're just not aware. And that's what we're trying to make them aware. That's all. So if you have any doctors that you would like me to see that is open to listening, I will be happy to go see them and show them this information. Okay? But that's really good on that. Okay. So let's talk about the research. So here's one of the first patents, U.S. patents done on DMG. It goes back to 1991. Treatment of arthritis and inflammation using dimethylglycine. So you'll notice the verbiage on this. It's actually making a health claim. Now, every other supplement in the United States has to have a disclaimer, may not prevent, treat, or cure disease. We do not have that disclaimer with DMG. Why? Because it's actually been proven to treat these specific health issues. And if you know anything about the patent process, it costs millions of dollars to have it get a U.S. patent, number one. Number two, you better have the research to back it up. Now the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, they actually went after the manufacturers of who make DMG. They sued them. Was in court. And the manufacturers of DMG spent millions of dollars fighting it. And guess what? They won. They beat the FDA. Okay? Don't hear about this on the news. Don't hear about it in the media. But they did win. 25 years ago, they won. Okay? So we can say things because this isn't a vitamin. It's not a mineral. It's not an omega. It's on its own little world. Its own little world. Okay? That this can be on. So totally different than any other supplement. Any other supplement. So that's very strong. Treating arthritis and inflammation using DMG. So it's been shown to have anti-inflammatory properties. It's reduced all these different inflammatory markers, and these are the same markers that drug companies test for when they're testing out drugs, except one big side effect. There is no side effects with us. That's the big difference there. It's reduced inflammation and arthritis in animals. Okay. And in the past, we would recommend HA+, omega-3D, and DMG, but now we have the X-Flame. We have the X-Flame. And the X-Flame, let me see here if it's one of these bottles. Here we go. So the X-Flame, and I talked about this Saturday, if you were here Saturday, has the DMG. It also has another patented ingredient called creselazine, which also has patent to treat pain and inflammation. So this is really unique. Plus it has a lot of other anti-inflammatory herbs in there as well. So this takes the pain and inflammation to a whole new level with the X-Flame. Yes?
I'd like to ask you about COPD.
COPD?
Does this help at all with the emphysema?
It will. We also have a formula that we'll talk about here in the end called Air Max. So for COPD, we do the Air Max. Okay? The chewables be 2-3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And another supplement called Rad-Free. Rad-Free, and that's 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. And for COPD, also good for asthma, by the way, emphysema, bronchitis, pneumonia. It's going to help with all those lung issues, and you'll see dramatic results. So come see me when we're done afterward. I'll show you those 2 things for you.
What about leukemia?
Yes, again, cancer, 3 a day. Yes, cancer, 3 a day. Cool. All right, so keep that in mind, right? So here's just a couple studies. Here's a result with inflammation, control group on the bottom. DMG showed significant reduced inflammation, more than half. If you add DMG with our green lipid muscle, that's what Perna is. Okay, green lipid muscle for prevention of inflammation. Again, it enhances it even a little bit further. Okay, so that's what Perna is, in case you were wondering. So, anti-inflammatory, reduces free radical damage, and helps regulate the immune response. And we'll talk about the immune here in a moment, right here, in fact. Now, this is one of the newer patents. This is actually came out after the book was printed, by the way. So you will not see this in the book. But this is 2007. This is a 2-parter. Methods and compositions for modulating immune response, which is a fancy way of saying boosting your immune response, boosting your immune system, U.S. patent on that, and for the treatment of inflammatory disease. A U.S. patent on a supplement to treat all inflammatory disease, which is every chronic health condition out there is inflammation. So DMG, we can make a health claim on that. So that's really powerful. There's no other supplement in the United States that can say that as well. Okay? So let's go back to the immune one. So this was a study on lymphocytes, T cells. Before and after DMG. Before in yellow, DMG after. They actually had 3 different subset of patients on this study. First 3 were normal, second 3 were sickle cell, last 3 were diabetics. And you can see all of them showed significant improvement in T cell production. Your immune enhancers, in fact, statistically, showed 400% improvement in T cell production. Folks, there is no drug in the world that will increase T lymphocyte production by 400%. This is it. This is it. Now, again, what we did is we enhanced this with our Immunomax. With our Immunomax. So our Immunomax has DMG, and it also has 3 other patented ingredients. It has beta-1,3-glucan, has another ingredient called arabinogalactin, which is the extract of echinacea. So it's all the immune properties of echinacea, and it also has a defractionated maitake. It's all the immune properties of the mushroom that we put all together in one. So this takes your immune system to a whole new level. Typically, we recommend this during this time of year when we're right now starting to get in the cold and flu season. For adults, we recommend this 1 to 3 a day. If you're coming down with a cold or a flu, and we catch it within that first 24, 48 period, we recommend a loading dose, which is 2 every 2 hours for 12 hours straight. And I'm just going to pass that around. So a total of 24 in that 12-hour period. If you can't do that, just make sure you're getting the 24 in, like 4 every 4 hours, right? But trying to get that 24 in 12-hour period of time. We've had many, many people, I mean hundreds, if not thousands of people that have told us that their cold was knocked out in 6 hours or less. 6 hours or less doing it, taking this formula at that dosage. So we don't have the cure for the common cold, but 6 hours is pretty darn good. Okay? No, we're actually on the Immunomax right now. The Immunomax, which I'm passing out. So we're just taking the DMG concept one step further, adding several other ingredients and making it even better. Okay, so that's where the Immunomax comes in. We also have that in a chewable, which we're sampling back there. Some of you tried it. Okay, great for kids as well. Great, for any time.
How did you say, Mike, if you're starting to come down?
2 every 2 hours for 12 hours straight. By the way, for cancer patients, we would recommend 6 of those a day, every day, 6 a day. In fact, there's a medical doctor I work with in Cleveland. Since she's been using the DMG and the Immunomax for her patients after chemo and radiation, her patients have responded tremendously. Now, we would like to add several other things. There's a lot of pieces of puzzle for cancer, okay? So those aren't the only things, but these are 2 really important pieces of the puzzle for cancer, for leukemia, for any of those type of issues. DMG be 3 a day, and Immunomax would be 6 a day. Yes?
Well, just a comment, about 20 years ago, one of the principal biochemists in the field for cancer said that his research had for directly affecting cancer.
Yep.
There are only 2 things he would ever recommend somebody. One is actually heavy water, and the other is DMG.
There you go. Awesome. There you go. Now, let's move on from immune. Seizures. So this might not affect you personally, but you might know somebody who has seizures. Okay? So first of all, look at the journal here. New England Journal of Medicine, published in October 21st, 1982. 1982. So the New England Journal of Medicine is one of the most revered journals in the United States that all medical doctors follow and listen to. These are the journals that they use their seminars and give speeches of. Okay? It's a holy Bible for medical doctors in their journals. So this is the highest clout in the medical doctor world is New England Journal of Medicine. So DMG goes back to 1982 on seizures. So this group is in the subject here, they were averaging 17 seizures a week. 17 seizures a week. When it's within 2 weeks of taking TMG, it went from 17 down to 3. 17 down to 3 in 2 weeks. Again, no side effects, no contraindications. They maintained that dosage for several weeks. At week 5, they stopped and it came right back to where it was originally. 2 weeks later, they started again and came right back down to 3. At week 11, they increased the dosage. In this case, they went from 1 chewable to 2 chewables. And the seizures dropped down to 1 seizure a week. Okay? They maintained that for the next 3 weeks. At week 14, they stopped the DMG. It came back up, but not as much as it did originally. The following week it came right back down, and for the next 20 weeks it maintained at 1 seizure a week. 1 seizure a week, okay? So there's a doctor I work with in Wexford area who had a patient who was averaging 80 seizures a month, 80. I showed him this exact slide that I'm showing you. He picked this up, the supplements up for the patient. The patient went from 80 to 0 in 1 month. In 1 month. So I've seen this firsthand. So again, obviously, I know not everybody this is an issue with seizures, but you might know somebody that this is an issue with. So please let them know that we can help them with DMG, okay? And by the way, again, when I show this to medical doctors, they can't argue this. This is their own published journals that this is in, okay? They can't argue that, which I love. Question?
The oxygen utilization, how it uses more oxygen, does that also work in the gut like parasympathetic?
Yes. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Yeah, so think of Immunomax as little Pac-Mans that eat away the bacteria and viruses and everything that's bad in your body. DMG is like little Pac-Man. Think of it on that level. Yeah. Heavy metals, yes, indirectly it will help. Yes, it will help because again, the detoxification aspect. And it's also in our Live Clear 2, which is why we put it in there. It's in our green drink as well. DMG is in there too. So yes, absolutely. It does everything, folks. It literally does everything. Now, autism, and again, I know this might not be specific to your situation, but I just wanted to mention again, hundreds of studies on autism recommended since the 80s, 1980s. Here's a published study. 80% of autistic children showed improvement using DMG, better verbal communication, cooperation, eating and bathroom habits. Here's Dr. Rimlin, another very well-known doctor. Again, all showing the same things, better eye contact, better interaction, and so forth. Here's a more recent study, year 2000, improved communication, better social interaction, reduction in irritability. Okay, so with neurological issues, okay, the Neuromax. So this has DMG in it, plus it has a lot of other key nutrients as well for neurological issues. Dosage is just totally, it's based on your age. This one is on age, okay? And the great thing about this is you can take this with any medication. You can take this if you're on anxiety drugs. You can take this if you're on antidepressants. You can take this if you're bipolar. It will help with all those issues. It basically rewires your brain circuitry, okay? So it helps with all neurological issues. And so this takes the DMG concept even further with added minerals in here, other key nutrients, okay? And it's especially beneficial for kids with ADD and OCD. So what's really fantastic about this is that the children that we've given to this formula have tried it. Their parents see a huge difference in just a few days. The teachers at school see a tremendous difference in their school behavior. And when the children finish the bottle, they usually request more of this, which is very rare for a child to want to take any supplement, but they actually feel a difference taking this. So this tastes like black cherry cough syrup. I suggest if you do try this, you keep it refrigerated, okay? But any neurological issue, this would be the #1 supplement that we would recommend. Neuromax. Neuromax. So I'm going to pass that around for you to try to look at. Yep. Neuropathy, that's a little bit different. So neuropathy would actually be another formula called neuropathies. That's a capsule. And that would be 1 in the morning and 1 at lunch would be the dosage on that for neuropathy. Okay. All right, finally, save the best for last. U.S. patent on the treatment of melanoma using dimethylglycine. Skin cancer. So there it is, folks. That goes back to 1991. U.S. patent on treating cancer. The only supplement that has ever been able to grant a patent for treating cancer within the United States. And skin cancer is one of the most challenging cancers. Now, we use this with all cancer protocols, okay? Not just melanoma, not just skin cancer. That has what what we can say about the health claim on it. And again, it's not the only thing that we would recommend. There's many other pieces to the puzzle, but this is a very large piece, okay? So, this has been shown in animal and cell culture studies that it can be both prevent and even reverse cancer. Reverse cancer. So that's very strong. That's as strong as it gets in the nutritional world. Yes, sir.
This says 200 megs of DMG in this?
Yeah, per serving. Per serving, yep. So again, that's why we would add additional.
That's a little bit more than
Well, the chewables are 500. And then we need to be at 1,000 milligrams to really get the therapeutic benefit.
I thought there were only 500.
500, yes.
Should I buy just the DMG by itself or the Immunimax?
We recommend both, if you can do both. But if you can only do one, do the DMG, okay? So, again, that's as strong as it gets, folks, right there. Now, you better have the research to back it up, which there's plenty, but we'll just share this one here tonight for you. So here's a study where they induced tumors in the chicken embryos. So in yellow, okay, we can see the size of the tumor before DMG, after DMG, 60% reduction in tumor size, okay, 60%. So it's one thing to actually see a bar graph, right? But it's another to actually see the tumors themselves. So there's the visual of the tumors that they induced. That's before DMG. This is 90 days later. 90 days, 3 months, 60% reduction. Yes?
Talk about, got me interested in here. What is the last component here? It begins beta 9?
Which one is it?
In the Neuromax, what is that?
Yeah, I'd have to see it real quick.
I'm familiar with that.
Betaine hydrochloric acid.
And what is that?
Okay, so betaine hydrochloric acid is a digestive enzyme. In fact, since we're talking about that, let's go back to the chart real quick. Okay, so betaine hydrochloric acid is right here, okay? So this also goes by the name of trimethylglycine, or TMG, okay? Now there's some supplement companies out there that claim that TMG is better than DMG. And the answer to that is no, that's incorrect. First of all, there's no U.S. patents on TMG.
DMG, I recognize this, I didn't.
Yes, but that's what, anytime you see betaine hydrochloric acid, that is TMG. So, and there's none of the hundreds of thousands of published studies are on DMG, not TMG, okay? Number one. Number two, there's no U.S. patents on TMG. But it's just an additional methylator. But TMG still has to convert into DMG. So with this formula, we're actually using both methyl pathways. So another example I would always like to say is DMG is like the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Betaine hydrochloric acid, or TMG, is like Route 79. Okay, so that's another. But with this formula, it has both pathways. It's very, very powerful. It's also really good for your stomach as well. Really good. And so we use that as well in other supplements like our Betazyme, for example, as well. So it's really good for digestion purposes too. Yes?
My cat has a growth in his abdomen.
Yeah.
Can I give him a tiny bit of this?
You can. In fact, we've had great success with this with animals. Now, we would recommend the liquid version with animals.
Well, I could crush it in his food.
Well, the chewable has xylitol. Okay, that's what it's sweetened with. So dogs and cats are sensitive to xylitol. So we have a liquid version of the DMG that we would actually recommend. This is unsweetened, unflavored.
I could take that too?
Yes, in fact, anybody can take this. Now, you fill it up all the way, it's 300 milligrams, not 500. So the chewables are a little bit stronger. But for animals, especially cats and dogs, we've had people who've given this to their pets and who have had tumors, and within 90 days, completely in remission, completely gone. Yeah, I've had at least 4 doctors that I work with that have given it to their pets with tumors and growths and things in their mouth and all abnormalities and all kinds of issues, and completely gone. Okay?
I've been giving him Wobizin.
That's a little bit different. That's an anti-inflammatory that will also help with that. So that is also excellent as well. These two work really well together. So we do have the liquid option for you. It's also good for anybody who doesn't want to do the chewable. Is another option who prefers a liquid option on that. Okay, so pretty amazing stuff. Now, I wanted to show you some other formulas that we have this in. Let's start with this one, Power Fuel. Power Fuel, okay? Now, Power Fuel is a formula for the heart. In fact, there's actually several different ways that we would recommend this formula. Okay, this is focusing on cellular energy, your mitochondria, where your energy is produced in your cellular level. So these are all key nutrients that help with the heart and energy, cellular energy. So anytime you need a little energy booster, a quicker picker upper, I like to say, instead of reaching for that cup of coffee, instead of 5-hour energy or any of those monster drinks that are full of sugar and caffeine, this is much better for you, number one. Number two, excellent for the heart. It's going to strengthen the heart, so it's great for any major heart issue, AFib, irregular heartbeat, stents, heart attacks, strokes, anything like that. This would be excellent for as well. So we recommend this with the cardio stack as well, and we recommend 2 scoops a day.
I take the Pro Oranges for an energy drink.
That's a little bit different in function.
Okay, how does that differ from the Pro Orange?
Yeah, the Pro Oranges is more of a whole food. That's more of getting your servings of fruit and veggies in there, and there's some other nutrients in there that will help with energy. This, though, is specifically for mitochondria energy, and also the Pro Orange is good for blood sugar balance as well.
Yeah.
Great, yeah. So people who do both, by the way, they combine both together. So that's number 2. But lastly, for chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia. 9 out of 10 times, fibromyalgia is a mitochondrial nutrient deficiency. 9 out of 10 times. So I recommend this for anybody who says they have fibromyalgia, 2 scoops a day. 1 scoop in the morning and 1 scoop at lunch. And within 3 to 7 days, you do not have fibromyalgia-like symptoms. And within 7 days, fibromyalgia. So, for example, a couple years ago, there was someone who came to the Wine and Wellness on a Monday, said she was in her 40s, said she had fibromyalgia for over 20 years, was in tremendous amount of pain. She went through 10 different medical doctors, spent over $50,000, still in tremendous amount of pain, 6 Oxycontin, 6 Percocet, 6 Vicodins, tremendous amount of pain. I gave her this, I said 2 scoops a day. She came back on Friday, 4 days later, no pain at all. Fibromyalgia is completely gone. Recently had a doctor call me and said he had a patient, you'll love this story, who he's known for many years, age 53-year-old male, that suddenly developed fibromyalgia and was having some chest pain and was having trouble even walking up a flight of steps. He was breathing very heavily, all of a sudden, at age 53. So the chiropractor said, listen, you better go to the hospital, get checked out, which he did. He went to the Altoona hospital because it was an Altoona chiropractor. They ran all kinds of tests on him. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. So they referred him to Johns Hopkins. Okay, Johns Hopkins. So Johns Hopkins, a team of 9 doctors, including the head of cardiology at Johns Hopkins and the head of neurology at Johns Hopkins, checked him over. And what their official diagnosis was, that he had some type of genetic heart condition. genetic. That suddenly developed at age 53, genetic. And if you are paying attention to the medical doctors these days, they're using that term quite often and quite frequently now, genetics. Oh, it's genetics, 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 right? Now there's genetic birth defects. There's genetic, usually you're born with it's a genetic issue. You don't develop it at age 53, right? But the reason why medical doctors are really pushing genetics is because the genetic test costs $16,000 right now for you to do a genetic test. So that's why you're hearing that phrase so much, because they want you to pay for that test. Always follow the money, right? Follow the money. So the chiropractor called me up and said, Mike, what do you suggest for somebody like this in this case? And I told him this right here, 2 scoops a day, okay? At breakfast and at lunch, tastes like lemonade. I also recommend our Power Q600. Our Power Q600 is 300 milligrams CoQ10, which is really good for the heart. And also this has 300 milligrams of DMG in it as well. So there's a little bit of DMG in this. There's a more DMG in this. I recommend 2 a day because of the seriousness of his heart issue. Okay, that was it. 2 and 2. So the chiropractor calls me back 7 days later and says, Mike, you'll never guess what happened. And I'm like, he's symptom free. And he said, yes. How did you know? And I'm like, well, because I hear this every day. Every day I hear a new miracle. Every day. Okay? So he said, now what? What do you suggest for something? I said, well, I'm sure he's getting a follow-up with John Hopkins. When is he? He said 8 weeks. I said, great, continue to take the supplements until he gets checked out again at John Hopkins, which he did. So just a couple weeks ago, the chiropractor called me back and said, he just got back from the hospital. I said, what happened? What'd they do? Well, they ran every test you can possibly run on a human being. They are stunned and shocked at John Hopkins. They've never seen anything like this, and especially in 8 weeks. Everything is normal. Everything is normal on his heart. And they thought their machines were broken. So they referred him down the street to another hospital, had another cardiologist run checks on him, and everything confirmed what they said. Everything was normal. So they, of course, asked him what he did, and he brought the literature, because I told the chiropractor, make sure you bring the literature in the bottles with them. They looked at it, and all they said to him was, CoQ10 is really good for your heart. And John Hopkins, by the way, promotes themselves as being alternative, very progressive to nutrition. They have a whole nutrition department. But if we stunned a team of 9 doctors, including the head of cardiology, did we get a phone call? Nope. Did they call the chiropractor? Nope. Did they call me? Nope. 10 seconds to call us. Nope. So any hospitals can claim that they're pro? They are not, folks. They are not. I'm just giving you this story, okay? All medical doctors know are 2 things, drugs and surgery. That is it. They've never taken a nutritional class in med school. They've never taken a nutritional class since med school. But they're the first to criticize nutrients, right? When they have no idea how these work or what they do, okay? So just wanted to share that story because that's a relatively new story on that. We're wrapping up here. I wanted to talk about the COPD real quick, okay? So this was the form I was talking about, Air Max. This is great for any type of lung issues. Air Max, we have this in chewables or pills. The chewables, you do 2, 3 times a day.
2 to 3 times a day.
Yep, and then the rad-free, 2 a day, 2 twice a day, 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. But this is great for any seasonal allergies. This is like a natural Claritin. It's a natural antihistamine like Benadryl. This will work for any of those type of seasonal allergies. We have samples of that in the back as well for you on that. We do on any of our fruit and veggie drinks, we do have DMG, so it's in the Pro Oranges. There's a little bit of in all of our fruit and veggie drinks. So again, 4 flavors. Please help yourself in the back on those. Each one has a little bit different role. Live Clear 2 for detox. So this is the most advanced detox supplement in the United States right now. It does have DMG in it. It's part of our detox program on that. And then our GI Complete is for any GI issue, whether major or minor. This has DMG in it plus 9 other ingredients that's going to help reduce the pain, inflammation, and get your stomach back to working again as well. So we also have the Cardio Stack. I forgot to bring that, but that also has the DMG. So we use it in a lot of our other things, but as a standalone, they're, you know, again, highly, highly recommend if you haven't tried this. Yeah.
Do you mix this liquid with water? Is that what you do? You
Yes.
put 1 droplet to a glass of water?
Or you could just drink it straight, directly in the mouth.
Just 1 droplet?
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
the 300.
Yeah. Yes.
Does the GI Complete come in tablets?
Capsules. Comes in capsules. Yes, we have capsules. Yes, it does. Okay, folks, my time is up. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I made some extra copies here. Have a great, wonderful day. I'll be in the back and help yourself.